Welcome back to the Flow of Life Tarot. We're outdoors, there's water flowing in the background, and I just had this phrase run through my head, not waiting any longer, the energy of waiting. And just as I was about to press record, there was a plane went overhead and an ambulance went whizzing by. So there was this sort of sense of double confirmation, and I could tell by the acoustics, one was going in one direction, one was going exactly the opposite. So this sense of, obviously when you hear an ambulance, you hear the sirens going, you know there's an emergency, and it takes quite a lot of oomph to fuel a plane, to propel a plane high up in the sky. So both vehicles going at great speed. And I'm sat here shuffling, just feeling into the energies with the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. So welcome back. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Sometimes these messages sort of amble through, and then there's sort of like pearls and gems dotted along the way. Sometimes they come out very direct, or there's downloads that just flush through and a lot of information comes through at once. Sometimes they're short, sometimes they're longer. So it's always worth just hanging out to see where the story goes, even if you grab a cup of tea and have this playing in the background and allow yourself to potter around or meditate. Just allowing this to be a time for you to kind of be with yourself with some nice energies in the background. And we've got this beautiful, I'm pretty sure that's lamb's ear. And it's so soft. I'm recording this at the you can't tell, but this is a sort of late summer garden scene that we have here. We've just moved into Virgo season, so we're sort of at the end of August. And so there's lots of beautiful aromas, and there's lavender behind me, and there's bees going. So lots of beautiful energies flowing through this reading and this recording right now. So my focus is on getting one card for the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck with regards to this phrase, not waiting any longer. And as I heard that rolling through my mind, I heard longer. So, as in the long and the short of it, cutting to the chase. And also with the plane going overhead, I heard holding pattern. Someone's been in a holding pattern for quite some time. Perhaps giving chances to, this waiting has been labelled as giving chances to things, allowing opportunities to grow, allowing people, places or things to come together, or allowing things to work out, not putting pressure on things, not trying to control or overly interfere with things. And we just got the water card, which is this lovely, it's powerful and it flows. Water can carve through stone, create ravines and mountains. Carve ravines through mountains. Incredibly powerful and incredibly soft and gentle. So this not waiting any longer. So I feel like someone is ready to release the waiting energy, and releasing that doesn't mean jumping into action or just dashing off with a sort of Knight of Swords or Knight of Wands energy. It doesn't mean being careless or lacking consideration. It just means realising that energy of waiting, and now we've got a helicopter coming overhead. I may pause it in case it gets too loud. But the energy of waiting is the energy that is the... I'm going to pause it, hang on a sec, or I just wait. God, it's a massive helicopter. Hang on a sec. Okay, I had to let that pass. It was incredibly low, and it was a big, you could see that it was a military helicopter, so it was quite a stocky, clearly fully equipped, powerful piece of machinery flying through the air. So those are three things that don't wait. You've got the emergency services, it sounded like an ambulance, there was an aeroplane or a jet going ahead, and then now we've got a helicopter. So I feel this is triple confirmation about releasing the energy of waiting. Okay, like I said, it's not about taking action. You don't necessarily need to do the polar opposite of an energy. You You can integrate and observe both polarities of whatever your personal polarity of the waiting energy might be, because it could vary. But mostly it's about transmuting that energy, holding that energy within self, or finding the roots of that energy. There may be something else there. Again, this kind of calls back to shadow work or the inner child work. There's different names for it. But I just had this image of someone who was giving chances to relationships of various types: friends, family, romantic, partnership, colleagues, collaborators, co-workers, clients, and then also sort of situations and opportunities, but having labelled them as giving things a chance or allowing things to grow. I think I'm repeating myself here, but I'm trying to be very clear on this. And it's not that there's a problem with the people, places, situations, the opportunities, or any of those things. It's the energy of waiting, which has been mislabelled as something else. So it's not been fully seen. It's been in the blind spot. It hasn't been recognised for what it is. And that waiting energy can also be called, procrastination is another name for it, but that's perhaps a bit more obvious because you can see that. And there's other similar terminology, but it's that wheelhouse. And we've just had this sun jump out and float down, so I'm going to take that as a beautiful, big, bold, radiant yes, as in we are in the right. And we've got another aeroplane going overhead. We are in the right ballpark here. And I see these beautiful, like, angelic bird wings here, sort of almost on fire, a bit like the Hunger Games, with the outfit that she wears. It just sets on fire. Yeah. What's the song? This girl is on fire. So, yes, wow, okay. I thought we were going to get information maybe about what was the root of the waiting, but I think what we're going to get is motivation and encouragement and support to help transmute this waiting energy. We don't always need to do a deep dive in psychology to release and transmute things. Chances are, when we are ready to release, it's at some point we've done all the different stages and various steps of work, and so when the release comes, when that moment comes, it's sort of just like the final pieces just flaking off or transmuting, or like sparks of fire dissolving off and just burning away beautifully. Yeah, absolutely stunning. Look at those eyes. I don't know if you can see, they kind of almost look like radiant jewels. It's beautiful. You see the blue eyeshadow with her eyes closed, or she has these amazing blue eyes, sort of radiant with light. 5 and 3, number 8 might mean something to you. I feel that's a sort of alchemical thing, number 8. That's also, number 8 is the strength card in the tarot. So there we have it, we have the sun. Okay. And I'm going to draw on the Wandering Star Tarot. I love the colours of these so much. And we're going to surround this sun with, like a sundial, with these yeah, so hang out, breathe, relax as I draw. Okay, this is where you're going. You're stepping into this full energy. I'm going to pull out the cards and then lay them for you. And you can hear another plane going overhead. And then at the root of this, so what I'm going to be, this is going to be in the north position, and a bit like this is going to be like a mini version of the Celtic cross, using that and the compass points as well, using that energy. So this is where you're headed, this full energy, and we're going to get something that's at the root and what's been driving, which may well point to this waiting energy. Isn't that interesting? I've got 2 cards flipping out. So yes, this waiting energy is very much this sort of unhealthy 4 of Cups energy, described here as yearning, delusion and boredom. So actually, whatever you may have been calling it, like allowing things to grow or giving things chances, however you've perceived it thus far, chances are that there is actually some unacknowledged, straightforward boredom and disinterest and dissatisfaction, and then expecting the external, whatever it is, work, family, friends, all these different areas, to alleviate the boredom, really. It's quite simple. It's not some big, scary, toxic thing. There's some, and it could, I mean, it really could relate to something as simple as inner child and some unresolved issues with, I don't know, wet Sunday afternoons as a child and being kind of bored and not having someone to play with. I don't know, because you were grounded, or because other people, friends were grounded, or because for whatever reason, maybe home life was chaotic, something. So if the inner child as we obviously grow, we become responsible for our inner child. So we have to reparent and meet that inner child, because we take responsibility for ourselves and we're accountable for ourselves. And if there is some boredom energy, also like waiting, known as waiting energy, that the inner child is frustrated and dealing with, then it's sort of meeting that. Scientists and whoever else, they kind of did discover at one point that boredom is actually the kind of genius petri dish for those flashes of insight and inspiration that actually humans, our physiology and our psychology, and probably other ologies, need a certain level of boredom. It's kind of like a defragging process or a download process, but without giving it all these big labels. We have to label everything, don't we, and categorize them. So there's something about boredom that can be incredibly healthy. But like anything, if we know what it is, then it's healthy. If it resides in the shadow, then it can become toxic and stuck. So if we're calling it hoping that certain things are going to work out, which is akin to putting things off, a bit like procrastination, and expecting things to work out magically outside of ourselves, thinking, well, we've done the inner work, so now, ta-da, where is it happening on the outside? There's some expectation there of still having needs met externally. Oh, well, I'll do my internal work, and then you can meet my needs externally because I've done the internal work. Like, okay, like, da-da, where is it? So if our motivation of doing inner work is about to then get stuff from the outside, then there's still a driver there. And in its purest form, this inner work and everything about taking care of ourselves and being responsible for ourselves and meeting our inner child and dealing with our shadows, all these things are really over and over and over and over and over and over profound and deep lessons about absolute love, self-love, pure love, real love, true love, all these layers and levels of love. The English language doesn't have many words for love, but there are other cultures and languages that have, a bit like there's other cultures and languages have so many words for snow or different types of rain, which are beautiful and profound, and it shows how nuanced the human mind and understanding can be with these things. We've kind of got love. So on the one hand, it's great because that just love applies everywhere. But then if you've got all these nuanced words for love as well, which can all gather together under the greater love, like the agape love. So, it's bringing back to the drive of being about love. And again, not to get love from outside, but about loving oneself. I feel like these messages come through so often, but I think it's because they are so relevant, and they're so relevant in so many different ways and variations in different contexts and paradigms. But they're also very simple. So at the root of that waiting energy is this sort of boredom energy and delusion, and what, it's not on one of the words here, but in the, you see that there's a refusal of receiving this cup of love. And you just take the Three of Cups on their own in the tarot. The Three of Cups is about celebrating with friends. So yeah, once again, the message of love and self-love. And what came with the Four of Cups was the Knight of Cups, which I thought was very interesting. So it feels like this is delivering this message with love. So I am going to take this, but this is, you know, this is, you don't need to chastise yourself or your inner child or criticize. You can receive this message and receive this energy within yourself and hold it with love, much as the Knight of Cups does. And you see here, which I like, it kind of reiterates, you've got this beautiful feather, which is a bit like the Mercury wings, or a nod to that air energy, which you see in the traditional Rider-Waite as well. You see the horse with its leg up, and this beautiful sort of sense of grace and humility, preparing to cross these emotional rivers. And there's this sun, radiant sun here, onwards and upwards, celebrating. And we see this sun here, and we see the sun here, and we see this beautiful moon up here. So these two cards at the foundation is underneath the sun. So I also feel that this is pointing towards that masculine energy, that Ra, Egyptian god energy, in the sense of that beautiful radiance, that gold effervescence, that healthy solar plexus ego self that radiates and is pure gold. But you've also have got to nourish that cup of love in the heart as well. But look, the cup is made of gold. It's certainly made of gold here. It's sort of made of bronze or a copper here. So that healthy solar plexus can really be a powerhouse that sits underneath the heart. So it is like also this cup. And I'm also thinking of the sacral chakra now, of course, as well. So there's always multi-layers and levels with these. So where are you coming from? We're going to do this way, as in which direction are you, where are you going with this? Where are you coming, where you've been energetically, where you're moving this way? Okay. So we've got the Knight of Wands here, which is beautiful fire energy, intuition and flow. So you have been doing this. Okay, so this is why it's important not to chastise or criticize, because I feel like if you stumbled across this, then you have actually been doing this work, and probably for quite some time. So you're probably a bit confused by this Four of Cups feeling, which you've labelled something else, and now you're perhaps realising actually was some kind of waiting energy, thinking it was a healthy thing, and realising it was perhaps mislabeled and not really seen properly, because you have been in your intuitive flow, and you have been creative and fiery and flowing and all that vibrant Knight of Wands energy. So it's a bit like saying you're doing all the right things, but why isn't it working? So that's understandable. So that isn't to criticise that long story about the drive of being love and not doing the inner work so that they then give you XYZ. Obviously I understand the inner work, we do want to see it reflected back in our material world and our reality. Of course we do, because we see everything else mirrored back, so why wouldn't we want to see that love mirrored back? Absolutely we want to see that reflected back. Of course we do. I mean, it's not that it's not already reflected back, it's just our lens of perception, which is to the extent that we are allowing it and welcoming it to be seen and to be received and capable, our capacity, our nervous system's capacity to receive. Again, so I feel this sun is sort of burning away any blocks, any kind of residue. Like I said, I feel it's just like the last few bits. We've got we've got this fire here, we've got water here, we've got fire here, and crowning this, we've got this Fool energy, which is that beautiful, innocent, stepping out. It's the beginning. Okay. Oh, and how lovely to have this Wheel and Fortune. So you are on the right path, you're on the right track. There may just have been like a little bit of a stall or a bump, or you've just sort of realised, maybe you thought certain things were going to take off, and then perhaps haven't, and then perhaps haven't. So then after a while you're a bit like, oh, okay. And this can be a tiny little mirror for you saying, you know, is there a chance that you've been in this sort of waiting energy without realizing it? So you know, address that within yourself, welcome it, nourish it, as in nourish the inner child that may be struggling with that energy, or any part of you that is. But you're on the right path. You've got all the elements here. You know, you've got the fire, earth, water, air, and you've got this beautiful snake, and this also makes me think of the North Node and South Node, and of course here karma and destiny written here. Is it the Wheel of Fortune in the traditional Rider Waite normally has the elements of the Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, the fixed signs of the zodiac. My gosh, 20 minutes already in. Yeah, okay. Right, and we've got the Chariot at the bottom deck, so I do feel there's movement coming in. I feel really that this was really emphasising that waiting energy. Yeah, so that it can sort of sink in, so that you can see into it, feel into it, and process that, and work with that, and transmute that, and be okay with it. It's good to be okay with things. And we've got here at the top, it says journey, success and progress. So again, that's affirming that you are making progress. Or Knight of Pentacles behind, even though it may have felt like slow progress, you are making progress. And this one says prosperity, benefits and investment. So the progress will be seen. Perhaps this little waiting energy has been like a little splinter that you needed to release. And I had a bang, I don't know if you heard that, just like a sort of like confirmation as well in the background. And of course we've got the Queen of Swords here, who takes no BS. So strength, ambition and truth. So this is again affirming that you are on point and on course and on target. And then we have the lovely sun as well here. So there is a lot of support here for you. It's a very nourishing reading, in fact. 22 minutes in, my word. I am just going to take some tarot to see what it is that's coming in for you, just to give you that bit of encouragement if you didn't already. Oh, okay. And then we've got Justice. So we've got some really positive cards here. And we've already got 3 major arcanas. Ooh. Okay, and we've got the King of Wands. So this is what's coming in, is this Pentacles. There is this sense of justice. So again, that sort of marries with this sort of sense of feeling waiting, like it's like you deserve it. Your ships are coming in, and you've got the King of Wands there, which is lovely, and the King of Cups came through as well. So you're getting your fire, your inspiration, your money, your love. It's all areas. They are incoming. And they're actually coming in quite fast, because that Knight of Swords was flipping out as well. So you can release that letting go energy, and we've got the World again. No, that was the Wheel of Fortune. Oh yeah, of course, it's the World card that's what I talked about earlier, was this Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio energy. So you have got the whole world in your hands, and I feel this is just like a little boost for anyone that feels like they're flagging a bit and have been struggling with that waiting energy. Yeah, and we've got strength, so we've got all these major arcanas really coming out now, which again is another like a sun solar card with that strength. Okay, what about this Fool energy? Should we get a bit of okay, there we go, clarity. So you could have been waiting on a bit of clarity on your direction, which I feel like you do have direction, but also perhaps the waiting energy can sometimes make that a bit hazy. So you have got this Ace of Swords with this lovely Fool energy, which is going to be receiving all of these and manifesting and creating. And what else? Yeah, you're going to be celebrating with this Fool energy as well. Do we have another one with this Ace of Swords and this beautiful celebration? Yeah, we have Queen of Pentacles. Did we have the King of Pentacles? No, we've got two kings there. So this ultimate nourishment and abundance, I feel this is saying you can relax, which is different to the waiting energy. It's a very different energy for the nervous system. If you notice that waiting is not an energy that feels good in the body at all. Your breathing, your muscles, the tension, your bones, the way you hold yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way you think. If you notice, all of that is very different to an energy that just feels good, feels grounded, and feels sure and certain in that healthy way. That absolute kind of trust way, not a desperate clawing hope kind of way. And this wanted to come out as well, Ten of Cups. So it is, and again, I kind of feel like with the Ten of Cups, there's something in this. I kind of see these as the double helixes. So I feel this is, especially recently, it keeps coming up a lot, this sense of there being a real sense of rejuvenation and nourishment in the cells and the DNA of the being and the body self. And cups is water and emotions, but you know that we have a lot of water in our body, a lot of fluids, and a lot of systems that need that movement, like the lymphatic fluid around the body and the blood around the body. We need these to nourish ourselves and to reach all the cells. So I feel like you can dissolve and transmute this waiting energy, because you can trust that things are flowing and moving for you. Is there anything else that you need to know for your highest good and greatest well-being? I kind of feel, look, there we go. Absolute self-empowerment, financial freedom, financial stability, self-made, prosperity and abundance. And again, you can see that her nervous system, she is completely relaxed. This isn't a fake relaxed or a performance for others, or performance of yourself, or fake it till you make it. This is a real deep in the body knowing. And again, I see pentacles. I keep seeing this a lot with these patterns. Even with her dress, I see this as all like bone deep, DNA level, more than peace, like an absolute depth charger of beingness and presenceness of an extremely profound level, which dissolves anything like a waiting toxicity or any of those human toxic things that the mind kind of like creates, and a real clearing through. And again, even with the grapes, I'm seeing like even if it's ancestral trauma of things that have been inherited, or past life stuff, I like a real bone deep heart of the hearts of divine Mother Earth, center of the universe, center of the galaxy, center of the beingness presence, that surpasses all else. Yeah, very profound. Wow. And I just wanted to look at the bottom of the deck, and here's why I just went into that, is because these chains are what's being dissolved. It's not just subconscious patterns, it's other stuff. They may be presenting as subconscious patterns, and so that's the language or terminology or the psychology or the various words we can use to get a handle on things, for the mind to have a concept of. But I feel it's greater than that. It's the history of humanity and everything that our soul has come here for. And again, I heard another bang as if to confirm that. So this is work that you are doing, albeit for your life and yourself and your highest good and greatest well-being, is also of divine service for the highest good and greatest well-being. That's why it's important, and that's why this reading came out, and that's why these various messages have come out, and that's why I kind of really reiterated this capacity to transmute and be present and bear witness to this waiting energy, and holding it with compassion and not judgment or shame or criticism. Okay, I feel that's it. Yeah. Yeah, this was just sitting loosely on the top of the deck, and I just wanted to have a look. And I feel with this rattle, I feel like it's shaking the dross out of the system of the collective, of humanity. We're shaking it out. So that might be useful for someone if you are trying to find different ways of being present with that waiting energy, is get some movement, shake it out. Shake it. Yeah. Shake it till you make it. Don't fake it till you make it. Shake it. I like that. Okay, good. I hope that helps. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Thanks for being here, and catch up with you soon. Okay, take care. Bye.